Narcissistic personality disorder is among some of the most stigmatized mental illnesses. And in the age of TikTok and self-diagnosing ourselves, we see a lot of children, teenagers on TikTok thinking that symptoms of being a teenager equals being a narcissist. In the DSM-5, or the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, we can see the traits that are associated with NPD: a persistent pattern of grandiosity, a perceived lack of empathy. We can also understand that a lot of the time, not always, NPD can be created through a inconsistent parenting and different types of childhood trauma. While this doesn't make it okay for people to act inappropriately, we can also empathize with the fact that not everyone with NPD is the same. I don't know that the people in this video are faking it. It's more of a mischaracterization of NPD in general. However, people on Reddit did have something to say about these videos. Let's get into it. While some people with NPD might experience an inflated sense of self-importance or grandiosity, NPD, like any other disorder, is called a disorder for a reason in the way that it affects your life. While a lot of individuals with NPD might project an image of confidence, their self-esteem can sometimes be fragile and dependent on external validation. Not everybody, but a lot of people with NPD have struggles maintaining relationships, as well as having limited insight and awareness into their own behaviors and the impact that they have on others. A lot of people with NPD describe not telling others about it because of significant stigma, and it applies that there are aspects of their personality that might be maladaptive or harmful. Some people might deny this diagnosis because it damages their sense of self-worth and self-image. Why do we see people faking NPD on the internet? The people in the Reddit had an answer that it gives you cool points. Yeah, there was a lot of the word quirky being thrown around, which if you are diagnosed with NPD, I'm so sorry. However, it's not cute. It means that you might be behaving in a more maladaptive way without treatment. Someone on Reddit said, "When you're faking a disorder, you don't get to brag about how dangerous you are." This really isn't a flex, but okay. People with NPD need to go through years of therapy to even admit to having a problem or responsibility in things they have done. It isn't really cute for the person dealing with them or the person with it, but go on and make the quirky TikTok, I guess. I'd be curious to know anyone with NPD's opinion on people throwing around the word narcissist on social media, but also in music. That, first of all, it's not cool. It can be very hurtful for that person and the people around them. It's sometimes hard for people with NPD to even hold relationships with people because of their disorder. Someone on Reddit said, "Yes, but cool and hot villains have it. These people think that it's cool and hot for them to have it. It does not make you a badass." There's a chance that some people, maybe this person, might have a small misunderstanding of NPD. Media and pop culture often portray NPD in glamorous and sensationalized lights. They might not fully understand the implications and impact of NPD, leading them to trivialize or glamorize the disorder without considering the potential harm it can cause to individuals and relationships. It's possible that these people posting borderline flaunting it are focusing on the superficial level of NPD, meanwhile perpetuating harmful stereotypes and misrepresentations of a already stigmatized disorder. Some people can have traits of narcissism without being diagnosed with or meeting all the criteria for narcissistic personality disorder. Why do you isolate yourself when your grades are bad? Why do you constantly look for validation? Why does one insult ruin your entire day? Why is your empathy only intact when it comes to animals and children? Why are you a fashion maximalist? Why do you go through hating and loving yourself like 5 times a day? NPD. Depending on the person with NPD, some of these might be relatable. I don't know, let me know. However, and I've been down this rabbit hole, if you haven't, very good for you, but it's kind of like you'll have symptoms of something and you'll completely go down the rabbit hole thinking you have it. And I don't blame these probably teenagers, because when I was a teenager, if I had TikTok available to me, I can guarantee you I would self-diagnose myself with something based on someone being like, put a finger down if you experience this. When a lot of the times these behaviors are grown out of and therefore the impact of just being a teenager. Although it depends. If somebody is still going through this experience when they're 30 years old, it could be a diagnosis of some sort. And then self-diagnosing yourself with such complex personality disorders can be very hard, because what if you put everything you have into believing that you have NPD and then it turns out you might have like BPD? But then you've already made all these TikToks and potentially spread misinformation without realizing. People on Reddit said, my experience with someone diagnosed professionally with NPD, it really torched their ability to maintain long-term relationships and friendships and came with crippling addiction issues. Another said, this guy on TikTok has NPD and he talks very openly and honestly about it. This isn't an effing trend. NPD ruins lives. I thought this was interesting because I've never seen like fake disorder cringe Reddit drama. However, you're probably the only person on this thread that claims to know someone with NPD and he's actually diagnosed. People go on here making fun of people for self-diagnosing, but then go and armchair diagnose every person they don't like with NPD despite not being professionals. The lack of self-awareness is astounding, which is another horrible stigma, basically saying, my ex is a narcissist, my ex-best friend is a narcissist. That's, you know, it's like, it is an actual real disorder, and people even having narcissistic traits once doesn't, I don't know, make them a narcissist. Reminder, mental illness don't define you and don't make either a good or bad person. Narcissistic abuse is an ableist term, and BPD havers aren't all manipulative, they're not, they're disorder heart. And I kind of want to open the floor for this one because I genuinely don't know. I've definitely titled videos things that narcissistic parents would do. And the reason I did that, which I'm kind of changing my mind about now, is I guess narcissistic doesn't need to be put in there. I understand that a lot of symptoms of NPD can be harmful to others, such as manipulation. And at the same time, saying that someone is a narcissistic abuser, is that implying that they have NPD or they just have traits of narcissism? It's not like if someone with anxiety abuses someone else would say, I am a survivor of anxiety abuse. You know what I mean? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts though. Obviously, having a disorder is not an excuse to abuse people, but terms like narcissistic abuse might be harmful when it comes to acceptance and understanding of other people's mental health conditions. Abuse is abuse, people abuse people, and people are not their disorders. Someone on Reddit said, it said narcissistic abuse is an ableist term, it's not. When someone says that the term narcissistic abuse is ableist, that's dangerous. It allows people to shame others for calling something what it is and for narcissists to continue to harm people without getting treatment. NPD is hard to treat because people with it don't think that they have a problem even when they continue to ruin relationships with others and ruin their lives. So yeah, obviously I'm kind of disagreeing with Reddit, but I definitely don't know the answer and would like to hear your thoughts. Just my thoughts, but having NPD doesn't inherently make you a bad person. Abusive behavior does from anyone. I don't know that a person would break up with someone purely based off of a disorder that they have, because, you know, they could be in remission, things like that. However, if this person was experiencing abuse, then it's obviously okay to leave a relationship for any reason. I did like how this person highlighted how people claim to be mental health advocates until they come in contact with mental illness. From my research, I found that some narcissists, depending on the person, are able to feel love. People talk about how when they do get really close to somebody, they get almost frustrated at themselves for not being able to feel empathy when that person might be crying or something. However, some people with NPD might exhibit conditional love or even struggle because of vulnerability or intimacy. Someone on Reddit said, in the process of getting diagnosed with X disorder always gets me. People really out here window shopping disorders. Nobody should be forced to date someone with a disorder that is characterized by often abusive, horrible treatment to others. NPD is really difficult because while it is a mental illness, the person with NPD might have difficulty in relationships, and some people improve with therapy and many got the illness as a result of trauma. But it's not an excuse to be cruel and abusive to others and expect them to still love and forgive you each time. Which I agree with. Whether a person is exhibiting abusive behavior or not, nobody should be forced to date anyone full stop. With that being said, NPD on its own is not equated to abuse. This person said, wait, is this a movement now? There is nothing cool nor fun about having a mental illness. It effing sucks. I would swap it with all these people in a heartbeat. I'm broken, I'm lonely, and I'm constantly wake up hating myself. So if that's what they effing want, let's trade places. F this, I'm out. Not everyone is equipped to handle the same level of stress in a relationship. Obviously, context is everything, we don't know, but maybe it should not be taken so personally. Faking NPD can have a detrimental effect on people who genuinely have it, in the way that it perpetuates an already existing stigma. If you believe that you are struggling with NPD, there is help available. So yeah, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn the bell on if you enjoyed the video, and comment below. Thank you so much, it helps with the algorithm. Make sure to take care of yourselves, and peace out.